Our population got down to 3, and Truganini was one of the last remaining full-blooded Tasmanian Aboriginal women. Prior to that, it was 47. So, nothing's ever lost. So we're trying to piece that language together. People don't realise that Tasmania had 9 countries. There was 48 dialects. There was 10 different languages. So we're trying to reconstruct it and bring that back. We're the Palawa mob, or Pakana, so that basically means in the Palawa Kāni language is Tassie blackfella. So if you can imagine, all those years ago, Tasmania was connected to Victoria, and it would have been one whole, land mass. So we got separated, when the land bridge and the Ice Age happened, and through that separation, everybody thought that we basically weren't connected to the rest of Australia, even to this stage now where we'll go down the street, and the issue we've got is traditionally we don't look like the Aboriginal people that are living, in a community or Cape York or the Noongas from WA because of our skin colour, but we are still Aboriginal. Part of coming here is we're all Aboriginal. Doesn't matter what you look like, what colour your skin is, it's what's in your heart and what you believe and what you give back to your community. So there's none of that. So it's important that we come here and we feel our place here.
I've been coming up here for a long time now, about my 12th or 13th tour, and it's great to be acknowledged by the Tasmanian Indigenous and Aboriginal community, and I definitely think there's a lot of benefits that flow on, not just in a cricket perspective. By participating in this tournament, you get to learn a lot about yourself, a lot about other people, in pretty challenging conditions, and realise, I suppose, that there's more to life than cricket. I'd certainly encourage anyone who's unsure about their heritage to consider identifying and finding out a bit more about themselves.
But I think it was 96 and 97 year that Ansett went bust. We'd booked in for the Imparsia Cup, so how are we going to get there? So it was midweek, all the boys caught a red line bus to Hobart. We all slept on the lounge room floor of Colin Lamont's house in South Hobart. We jumped on the plane the next morning from Hobart to Melbourne, flew from Melbourne to Adelaide, jumped on a bus, and it was a 22-hour bus trip to get to Alice Springs to play cricket. So it was just an unbelievable circumstance. So the easy part back then was say we're not going, but seriously, why wouldn't you get here? So you just find a way to get here. And one of my things is winning games of cricket's not always about runs and wickets. It's about your dynamics and it's about your culture, and we need to learn off the other mobs that are here. So.